leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is objection. Question number 12, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for ACC. What actions, apart from inviting or observing inquiries from the Privacy Commissioner and the Auditor General, has she taken since 12 March 2012 to see that issues arising out of the wrongful disclosure of personal information by the Accident Compensation Corporation to Bronwyn Puller have been remedied or addressed by the corporation?
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr Speaker, I've stayed in close contact with and required regular updates from the Chief Executive on what steps he's taking to build a culture of privacy and information security ACC and rebuild public trust and confidence. In the last 3 months, I have also visited 9 ACC offices and spoken personally with staff, emphasising the need for privacy and information security. I would like to point out to that member that in both my visits and the message about privacy have been extremely well received. I'd also like to point out that while the Privacy Commissioner is reviewing ACC's privacy processes, it is sensible to wait for her recommendations. However, I have supported ACC in the steps they have taken so far.
Andrew Little.
Mr Speaker, what action has the Minister taken to ensure the advice she receives from the corporation is accurate in light of both a police inquiry and a television current affairs program confirming that the statement in the 16 March 2012 report to her from ACC concerning Bronwyn Puller that, quotes, she made threats that if her demands were not met, she would not return the information and she would inform the media of the alleged privacy issue, is not true?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr Speaker, I'm not in a position to answer that in the way in which the member has asked the question. And the reason is that it is still subject to both the Auditor General and the Privacy Commissioner. And I think that it's important to not try and tread all over those inquiries.
Is this a point of order?
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Mr Speaker, what action has she taken in light of the High Court injunction issued against an ACC claimant, Mr T, just 2 weeks ago on the 28th of May 2012, ordering him not to disclose personal information improperly disclosed to him by the corporation, to ensure that the corporation is serious about fixing their information management problems?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr Speaker, I'm sure I've answered that in my answer to the primary question. The fact is that the issue that that member raises occurred in 2008. There's been a lot of work done at ACC since then. If the member would like me to, I can outline some of the steps that have been taken in the last 3 months. ACC advises me that they have cooperated with KPMG to carry out an extensive review of its processes with policies around privacy and information security. They've undertaken to implement all recommendations arising from independent inquiries into privacy and information security. They've agreed to implement a zero-tolerance policy to security breaches. A number of initiatives already implemented within ACC: refresher training for all staff, establishment of a privacy response team to answer queries and complaints, training privacy champions to promote ACC's privacy culture and practice, identify system and process changes to support privacy improvements, and interviews with private and public sector agencies to discuss and learn from their privacy practices.
The Minister's doing very well. I think the House doesn't need to hear too much more of that. Andrew Little.
Supplementary. Thank you, Mr Speaker. What is more important to her? Fulfilling her public duty to ensure ACC acts with honesty and integrity to her and the public of New Zealand, or pursuing her own personal and private interests in suing her political opponents and fundraising for her legal costs because she is not wealthy?
Order. I want my feet with escape members' attention. That question's out of order. Why? And that brings to a close questions. That brings to a close if I heard the member order, the members have interjected why was it out of order. Perhaps a point of order should be raised just interjecting why was it out of order. But if I heard the question correctly, it referred to a matter that was before the court, and that's why it was out of order. That brings to a point of order the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, it referred to the fact that the Minister was taking action. It referred to nothing before a court.
Well, what I believe I heard did refer to a matter that was before the court, and I and I wasn't about to allow that to be pursued in the House. The House is to hold the executive to account and not to be pursuing matters that are before the court, and that's why I ruled that way. And that brings to a close questions for oral answer. Honourable members,
she's touchy.
Order. I have received a letter from Andrew Little seeking to debate under Standing Order 386.